the women's expectations, generally speaking, not all the time, is the guy should pay for the first date.
Okay.
Now, in what world can I ever hop on a dating app where my expectation is she's going to pay for the first date? The best I can maybe get is to split. There's never a world where I can ever go on a date with a girl and anticipate or expect or feel entitled to her paying for the first date.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of people have
would that be a losing strategy for me to expect to go on a first date and expect the girl to pay? She pays for me and herself.
I think you should go in with the mindset, at least I'm paying 50-50.
Is that how you think women go in to dates, generally speaking?
I'm expecting I could pay the full bill.
It's probably split, but it's probably like split between like 50-50 or the guy's going to pay, but it's almost never I'm going to pay for the date.
I don't know what to expect. What if their card gets declined?
This is so ridiculous. Look, let's dive into this. Let's make this super easy, because essentially you're just pretending you have no standards and nobody believes you. Literally nobody believes that this is true at all.
I didn't say I didn't have standards. Let's calm down here.
Well, I mean, then you have to stop pretending that you don't, because you seem to always want to point towards an exception or an outlier, right? So Brian asks simply, he's saying, do you think it's a good strategy to go on a dating app with the expectation that the woman's going to pay for you, or that it's even going to be a 50-50 split? Does that even seem like a reasonable strategy for the average guy to go into a dating app considering? Does that even seem reasonable to you, honestly?
I don't think that's reasonable for the woman or the man to expect that.
Yeah, okay, but who do you think? Why would it not be reasonable for the woman to expect that?
To expect that the man's going to just completely pay for a date?
Yeah, since they always do. Like, why would that be unreasonable for a woman to expect that, considering that they always do that?
That's a lot of trust in other humans.
Can I jump in here?
What do you mean trust? It'd just be like, hey, pick me up at 6 and you're paying. That it's not even complex, is it?
But a card can get declined. That was my point. Like, things can happen. But there are other factors.
Okay, so you bring your oops, this guy's a bum wallet with you, right? But that aside, for the most part, it seems like how is it possible that you won't concede that it's a viable strategy for a woman to go in to dating with the expectation a man will pay for everything, but it's really not a viable strategy for a man? That doesn't seem ridiculous to you?
That I'm saying that I just don't trust humans in general is my point. Like, I don't think anyone should expect.
Yeah, but it's not about you and your preferences or your trust. It's asking you a question about how the interpersonal dynamics between men and women. And the question remains, is it a more viable strategy for women to have the expectation that men will pay for dates? Or is it more viable that the expectation men should have is that women will pay for dates? Honestly.
In general.
Sure.
Just agree, bro.
I think that they're trying to like make you feel like how can you word it, like, because you were saying that women don't date up, right? Or that your belief is that women don't date up, and that it all sounds like they're trying to tell you no, they do date up, they only date up
because they do.
In general they do, and I think that you have your own personal belief, but there's like a generalized concept of like women and men going on dates and men paying for the first date in general.
Just a social convention or social whatever.
So like if someone's on a dating app and you're like, if I'm a man and I'm hitting on this woman and then we decide to go on a date, technically like 80% of the time, I'm just throwing a random number out there, 80% of the time, the man is going to be expected to pay for the date. So that's more of like a generalized.
But do you think if the woman offers to like, oh, I can take, like, let's go on a date or go to a date,
for
do you
me,
think they'll pay then?
If I ask somebody to go on a date, I'm paying.
Yeah.
Grid One Motorsports donated $100.
After this.
I realize it is asking a lot, but can we get the Dollar Tree stripper back somewhere close to reality? We all know she has never actually paid for a date and dates men based on Theo Wallet. Be better.
Dollar Tree stripper.
Thank you, Grid One Motorsports. Appreciate it. Who's the Dollar Tree stripper?
I'm gonna guess me, but
that
I've
you?
only been on one date, so like, what is he gonna?
You're not Dollar Tree. You're higher than that.
Wait, so
Yeah,
okay.
so then he was right though. He's not
Actually, I paid-
not about the Dollar Tree, not about the Dollar Tree thing. But he was right when he said that you've never paid for a date in your life.
No, I have actually with my ex-boyfriend. We went on lots of dates.
What?
and I
Wait,
paid.
no. You said that you've only ever been on one date. That's your words. One date.
Outside of
Count
my
them.
ex.
That's one. Now, you can't say, and also I went on these other dates outside of this one date because that wouldn't make any sense. So you went on one date, and on the one date, you didn't pay. So Grid 1 said, you've never paid for a date in your life? He's right.
Outside of my
Right.
ex, yes. Correct.
So
Got
you've been
me.
on more than one date then?
I've been only on a random date with a random person once, right?
And
I
you
was
did- and
already
did you
dating
pay
my
for it?
boyfriend when we went on
Right.
dates.
And you didn't pay for that date, right?
The one date, no, I didn't.
Right. So then,
I offered.
Ipso facto, the logic here is all of the dates that you consider dates that you've ever been on, you've never paid for any of them.
Yep, 100%.
100% success rate.
Oh, 100%. The one success rate.
I have
I'm just saying the chatter was right. That's all.
Yeah, of course.
I have
I'm
a
also a dollar
scenario
store
here.
stripper.
I have a scenario here. So, okay, your position is that generally speaking, women really aren't dating up. Is that correct?
It's the general statement.
That's your position. Okay. So let's do a scenario. So you have a high status individual.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of an actual celebrity example I could give. Let's say you have
Elon
jeez,
Musk.
who-
Yeah, we were talking about him today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like who's a dude that a lot of women like.
Leonardo
Brad Pitt.
DiCaprio.
Johnny Depp.
Oh, Jacob Elordi. Don't people like
Oh, there you go.
Let's just say like a famous musician, famous actor, whatever. He's in a bar.
Drake.
Okay, we can use Drake.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll use Drake.
He's got that snake.
Drake is okay. Drake's in a bar. Drake's in a bar,
Okay.
and there's a bunch of women in the bar, and there's like 21-year-old really attractive nobody women in the bar, and then there's like a 33-year-old average woman who's very successful, and maybe she's got a bit of status herself. Maybe she's also a singer or something, and she's had a couple hits herself. Who do you think that he's gonna go after?
To sleep with.
Anything.
Dating, sleeping with any
Dating,
of it.
having a relationship.
Well, I think relationship-wise, it depends because you see his past relationships if you want to pull up actual him.
Okay.
And he's dated
Doesn't
both.
he date like
He dates-
IG model?
And
Like,
he dates singers.
Yeah, usually IG.
But
models.
men generally only care if a woman is attractive and has good motherly qualities, whereas
wait,
women.
sorry. Go ahead. I'll
Whereas
continue.
women typically want to be taken care of by their man, which is why they date up, because they want that security. And they want the financial responsibility that if they do have kids or if they're 9 months pregnant, they're not going to have to worry about that. And they have security both financially and just overall. And that's why women typically date up. And I think you are an outlier, but to say generally women think like you, I think is completely wrong.